Hello painters and welcome back. Today I'm going to make some coasters. A friend of mine has asked for a set of 4 blue sea life coasters. So I am going to do that with these paints. I've got my 4 small tiles set up here, and if I get my glasses I'll tell you what paints I've got. I'm starting with a dark blue. This is ultra deep blue. Then I have a regular snow titanium white. The Bahama blue, one of my favourites, slightly greeny, and then this one is true blue. And I've got them all mixed up here on the side. I've mixed all of the paints 50-50 with pouring medium. There's no water in any of the paints, but I have put a couple of drops of the treadmill built lubricant in each colour. So I wanted them fairly dark, because they'll then form a nice dark background, because I want to do a silver sea life stencil over the top. So I have got 4 teeny, these are some of my favourites, teeny little flip cups. I love these so much, and I'm just going to layer up these paints. I would ideally like the coasters to at least look similar, so I want to try and put a similar amount of paint in each cup. One of the good things about these little cups is they do have little ridges on the side near the bottom here, and I'm hoping it will help me at least try and keep a similar amount of paint for each colour in each cup. Okay, a bit of white. Let's go with the dark blue next. I suppose I should probably do it from a bit of a height and try and mix the colours a little bit in the cup to get some extra colours. There we go, that's most of the dark blue. And this is this lovely Bahama blue. Ooh, splendid. I can already see little cells forming in the cup. So what I would like is to have some nice cells today, but I don't want it too busy. Ideally some larger cells if possible, because I want them to look a bit like bubbles, you know, so like bubbles under the water. I think that would be a nice effect. So there we go, a bit more. Oh, I'm not sure if I have enough paint. I might need to be scraping these cups out. Yeah, I think I do need to scrape these cups out. Okay, so I'm going to finish layering the paints up into these cups, and then I'll see you back here for the flip. So I just about scraped all the paints into these 4 cups, so let's flip them one at a time and let's see what we get. I hope at least the colours are going to look kind of similar, so that we don't end up with one that's white, one that's dark blue, and one that's a kind of green colour, but we'll see when we pull the cups up. Let's give them a tap for luck, and here we go. Well, that certainly looks nice and dark blue that I was hoping for. Not too light. I'm just going to try and, oh, I don't know, am I going to save the paint? Probably not. Let's just go for it. Let's let it run off. Okay, that's a nice, good dark blue colour. Just a little bit of dab on the corners, and that one's done. Okay, number 2. Colour looks similar. That's good. That one's a little bit lighter, but I think it's still going to work. And the corners are good. Okay, here we go with number 3. I think this one is my favourite so far. Yeah, I love that one. Down the corners, it's all good. And so far they're looking pretty similar, so I'm happy with that. Let's go with the last one. Oh, this one's a bit whiter. See if I can pull it back. There we go. I think it still works. So, first step done, 4 successful coasters poured. I need to just leave these now, and then hopefully when they're dry we can move on to the next step. I'll see you soon. The tiles are all dried now, and I think they look great. I've gone ahead and cleaned the silicone off of all of them and dried them off. And now what I've decided to do is to put a resin layer next. Normally I might have just stenciled right on top of the tiles, but I think it could be interesting if I do the resin first, then stencil on top of the resin, and it give it slightly a 3D effect, as if the stencil is floating above the paint. So I'm going to go ahead and do my resin coat next. There's already a tutorial on my channel about how to resin coat, a complete clear coating 101 tutorial. So I'm not going to go through it here, but I will provide a link up in the corner. Look for this eye up here in the corner, and you can click on there and go and find the tutorial for how to resin coat. And then I'll see you back here and we'll do a bit of stenciling. The resin's cured, and as you can see it's got this fantastic glossy surface on it. You can see the reflection of one of my lights there. So I'm ready to do these stencils. Now, I've already done a few. This is the stencil that I'm using. This is the Deco Americana stick-on stencil and mask. And I've got this one, which is Sea Life. Let's see, there we go. You can see all the details there. And what I like about this, well, I like 2 things. You have 2 ways of doing your stencils. You can either do it kind of in relief, or you can do the design itself, or any kind of combination of that. So that is awesome. Plus they are also self-adhesive, and I've used some of these several times already in the past, and there's no problem at all with the adhesive. When you're done, just when it's all kind of got paint on it, I just pop it down on a tile, press it smooth, and then you can wash the paint off the stencils, and they just don't lose their stickiness. You stick them back on this sheet of vinyl when you're done, and oh, there we go, at least set it out nice and flat, and then they're good to use again, and every time I've used them they've just been as good as new. So you get this cute little crab, and with each of them you get the actual stencil part itself, then you get like a round frame, then you get a square frame, so you can do lots of things with them. And there's some big ones and some small ones there. So I have used already the cute little crab, and as you can see, let me show you the paint I've used. This is the Dazzling Metallics in shimmering silver. It's a gorgeous silver metallic, and you can see from the stencil, once it's sat there on top of the resin, it looks almost like a brushed metal look. It looks really good. So I've got the little crab, and I've got the seahorse. That looks really cool. And then I'm going to do, as well as having 2 larger ones, I'm going to do 2 smaller ones. So I've got the sand dollar there. That looks nice. And then my last one is going to be the little starfish. So I've already got the starfish stuck on there. I just need to find his frame. So if I just peel that off, and as you can see, I've decided not to put them in the center, because if you center things, they have to be centered. If you put them off center, then make them deliberately off center, and it'll look as though they were meant to be like that. So I prefer off center, so it doesn't look as though I've done it wrong. There we go, that's good enough. So I'm just going to smooth that down, and it sticks on here right away. That's how you can get some really nice crisp edges, because the stencil's like a vinyl, so it has a slight kind of stretch and give to it, and it sits down there just really flat and beautiful. And I've also, because I've had such dreadful experience in the past trying to stencil with brushes, I bought myself these. It's a little set of 3 double-ended stencil daubers. There we go, a couple there, and this is the one that I've been using. And so I'm going to use some of this paint and just stencil on here. I only ever did 1 layer on all of them, and it seemed enough. I didn't want them to be perfect, you know, I wanted them to have a slightly kind of, almost a slightly weathered look, and it really is just easy as put a bit of paint on and dab it about. And because it's a metallic, it gives it almost like a kind of brushed metallic or a hammered metal look with the spongy stencil dauber thing I'm using. So a little bit of paint goes an awful long way. Anyway, you don't need to watch me do this probably. In fact, it's almost done, isn't it? I was going to say I'll come back, but it really doesn't take very much. A quick dab with the stencil. And that's pretty much it. Make sure I get up to the edges. Like I said, I don't want it to be perfect. I want it to be a little bit imperfect. And I think that gives it a slightly nicer look. I mean, you can't get perfect with a stencil anyway. It's the whole point of them, isn't it? It's slightly imperfect always, and I like that about it. So I think that's enough paint coverage. So that really was like 2 drops of paint. That's very, very little. The outer one is easy. You just pull it up, and there we are. It's got that nice crisp edge to it. And I'm going to put that over there. This other one, because I want to pick it up while the paint's wet, I just use my needle tool and just poke in right under the edge, and once it's up, it just peels off. Oh, I've made a little mess with the tool there, so I can just go in with a paintbrush and tidy that up just a little bit where I caught it with the needle tool. There we go. It's perfect. So I'm going to let this one dry, and then I'll come back and we'll go on for our next step. So the tiles are now finished. The extra layer of resin has been completed, and they've all got their neat little cork patches on the back. And I have to say, they are totally gorgeous. I think I made totally the right decision to put the 2 layers of resin, because then I've got the paint, then the resin, then the stencil, and then the resin on top. And it really makes this stencil here look separate from the paint underneath. Whereas I think if I'd put it straight on top, it wouldn't have had the same nice definition and wouldn't have been as smooth as it is by putting it on top of the resin. So these are absolutely gorgeous. I think my friend is going to be really delighted with them. The finish, I'm pleased to say, is perfect. The stenciling with the little kind of metallic paint there looks like real kind of brushed metal, or sort of a faux silver look there. It's absolutely gorgeous. So do watch out for the other videos which show you how to do the resin layer, and also I have another video, if you check my channel, which shows you how to do the cork and how to get nice edges, what cork to buy to use on your tiles. So thanks very much for watching this one. It's been a bit of a lengthy video, but I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you'll stick around and watch more of my videos, tutorials and fun projects and experiments on this channel. See you around soon.